Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So I am recording this video just a couple hours after the Fnatic against Evil Geniuses game. I believe it was the second game of the play-in stage, the second game of Worlds 2022. And it's a huge game. This is probably the biggest game of the entire play-in stage. I mean, obviously, once we get into like the best of fives, those games will be bigger. But as far as the round robin, and just because of the fact that whoever wins this group gets automatically into groups, it can be deemed as bigger than even some of the best of five games in some ways. But this is a very, very big game. It's EU against NA. The team that wins this game is going to be favored to top the group, favored to get out of groups. And the team that loses this game is probably going to have to play a best of five against Mad Lions, DRX, RNG. Like, no matter what, it's not going to be easy. You'd much rather just take your chances winning this best of one. If you're on Fnatic, things are looking good because EG doesn't have Danny. They have Cowrie playing, and if you're EG, things are looking good because Upset literally got off a plane like not even 24 hours ago. He hasn't gotten to scrim at all. They weren't even scrimming in Europe. Hylissang isn't playing. Rux is making his Worlds debut. Like, they were saying that Rux was like on vacation because his season was over. Obviously, once the ERL season ended, he wasn't on the Worlds roster, so he wasn't even playing. Rux gets like pulled from vacation, has to start scrimming, playing, and that's who EG's facing up against. And EG has Vulcan, who's, you know, considered probably the best support in the LCS right now. Like, that should be like an Astro gap or whatever you want to call it. So there was definitely ways for both teams to win. Obviously, both teams have been good and bad throughout the season, so people didn't really know what to expect. But man, this game was riddled with a ton of issues before it even got started. We were 2 hours into the broadcast day. Again, this is the second game of the day, and the game hadn't even started yet. The big news broke that a ton of players and staff had tested positive for COVID. I don't think many people, or maybe any at all, I'm not exactly sure, were having symptoms. There was a lot of people who were testing positive, but were not like actually sick. And then they were all like getting retested and all this stuff. And then we ended up with players having to play and coaches having to draft and coach from an isolated place or whatever. And I don't know what exactly the issues were, but it was causing all kinds of delays that we've seen all day long so far. We're doing 8 game days on the broadcast right now, and these delays are just absolutely insane. And you have to wonder and question the competitive integrity of this whole aspect, because you have some players playing on stage in front of a crowd. Yes, the crowd in Mexico City is not that big. I think the venue only seats like a couple hundred people, and it definitely didn't even look sold out. There's like a weekday and stuff like that. But you still have people playing on a big stage in front of a crowd, and then other people playing in an isolated area. That's a different scene. There's definitely advantages and disadvantages to both. Some people love playing in front of the crowd. The crowd definitely can impact you in negative ways and positive ways, and all kinds of different stuff, depending on who you are, the team you are, just the situation. But everyone's not playing in the same environment. It just seems kind of weird. It just all seems kind of scuffed. A lot of people, you know, played all year to finally get to play in front of a crowd and on a big stage. Super, super weird. I don't know. I don't really love how Riot has handled this whole thing. And man, these delays, they cannot keep going on, because with 8 games a day, we're already having 8, 9, 10 hour broadcasts. And if we have a 30 to 45 minute delay between each game, we're going to be what? We're going to be doing 12, 13, 14, 15 hour broadcasts. Like, come on, this just makes no sense. Riot just simply has to do better in this. They have to prepare and plan better in this. But whatever. Going into this game, JoJo, he's dropping the trash talk as always. On September 11th, he tweeted out, "Group A is so free." And then he said, "Hey, can't wait to face against Budget G2." And I know there's a lot of EU fans that hate JoJo or like to clown on JoJo or whatever, but there is also a lot of EU fans that are starting to gain a lot of respect for JoJo, because even though he's 0-6 against G2 coming into this, he's still talking trash to EU. He still took all the flame from all the EU fans and stuff very, very well. Again, this is a 17-year-old kid. I still believe he has not turned 18 years old yet. And you can't even imagine the messages and trash talk and everything he gets from the EU fans, and to keep going and to handle it as well as he takes it, and, you know, to be kind of graceful in defeat, which a lot of people are not in the scene. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's cool to see, and I think people should respect that a ton. It's the same stuff that Caps did back in the day. It's the same thing that Perks, you know, still does to this day. Wonder, so many of your favorite EU players. No reason to hate on him just because it's JoJo. And again, these tweets do well. I mean, 6,000 likes for a rookie in the LCS. That is very, very good. I also tweeted out, hey, reminder of what JoJo thinks of Fnatic. The question that I asked him in Chicago after the LCS finals, where I said, hey, you know, what do you have to say to EU teams and fans going into Worlds? And he was like, yeah, we went 0-6 against G2 at MSI, but Fnatic, Rogue, all these teams, they're not G2, so I think we're going to be able to handle them. So JoJo came into this thing feeling pretty confident, and getting into the game, Jojo picked right up where he left off. He's typing in chat, Humanoid Victor, oh my god, go easy, please. Humanoid says, oh my god, oh my god. Jojo says, I heard your Victor really good. 100% win rate, like your best champ. 100% win rate in my career. He says, fuck, don't Chovy gap me. And then Humanoid says, you are fucked. So we're starting out this with an absolute banger. Renato says LMAO, and then he says, also, if you guys flame Jojo, you suck. Kid always has really good banter and knows how to take it when he loses. Respect, which I think is cool to see. But as you can see from this comment, don't Chovy gap me, and the gang gets Chovy gapped. We have the game pulled up here. This did not go well for EG. EG did have a draft that I did not like. I'm definitely not a fan of Lux support. I think Renekton top can fit into some comps and some strategies, but if I'm going to Renekton top, I'd probably like to have a little bit more scaling in the bot lane, and I don't know if I'd be going an early game top laner right now when my AD carry is like a rookie and is maybe going to stomp, maybe not. And I don't think Cowrie played bad. I think, a lot of people's takeaway from this game was that Vulcan got super gapped by Rux, which is really not a good look. Again, Vulcan being a veteran and one of the best supports in the LCS from this season, and Rux being a guy who finished on the 8th place team in the Spanish league and was, on vacation ready for his offseason. But this was also the debut of Upset, which was really, really cool to see. He went 6-0 on the Misfortune in his very first ever Worlds game. He looked very, very good on this pick. Humanoid looked good in the mid lane on Victor. I mean, Fnatic just looked overall solid, but like a lot of EU fans and NA fans said, you can't really even take too much away from this game if you are Fnatic or an EU fan or whatever, because EG just looked so damn bad. Fnatic didn't really have to do anything crazy. They didn't have to do anything insane. Yes, the Lux Caitlyn bot lane started out really, really strong, was able to get a CS lead, but as soon as Vulcan lost his flash, they were able to get punished, and then, hey, the Caitlyn Lux is pretty much out of the game, and now the Misfortune Leona, which is also a very, very nasty lane together, they're really able to take over into like the mid game with all their combos and stuff. And yeah, Upset just had some insane ults. Rux did very, very well. I mean, again, he didn't do anything that insane, but to go deathless in a Worlds game against a somewhat formidable EG team. Obviously, the EG we saw today wasn't exactly that scary or formidable. But yeah, overall, Fnatic looked solid. EG looked really bad. They did pretty much a whole lot of nothing. I think really each player individually had a lot of lowlights. Obviously, if Impact did go 0-0-0, which I didn't even know that, nothing too insane there. But, the jungler Inspired got caught out a couple of times in what I thought was kind of weird, bad spots. Vulcan died during the lane phase, which was really, really costly. Jojo, he didn't really get much of anything done at all in this game, and Humanoid on the Victor definitely looked to have a whole lot of control in that matchup and in this game overall. So Fnatic, they get the win, and they're now in prime position to win this group and to make it to the World's main stage, which is really, really exciting for them. They have 4 more games against minor region teams. Now, yes, they still need to win those games. They still need to get the job done, and anything can happen in best of ones, especially with how inconsistent Fnatic has been this year. And on the other side, EG, they still need to win all of their games. Yes, obviously if Fnatic falters, they could still win and maybe tie for first, maybe get some kind of tiebreak or something like that, but even if not, the difference between that 2 seed and being in the 3-4 game is absolutely huge. So just like Fnatic, they need to make sure they don't drop any games randomly to some minor regions. EG needs to do that as well, because the difference between the 2 and 3 seed could be the difference between playing the better team of Mad and DRX and RNG, or the worst team of Mad and DRX RNG, or maybe even like a Saigon Buffalo or something like that, if some random crazy upsets go down. So this is not the end of Worlds by any means for EG or Fnatic. Both teams, I know Jojo after the game spoke about how, hey, we haven't even been in Mexico City that long. We haven't even got to scrim that much. We haven't got to practice that much. He really thinks they're going to be able to get better over the course of the event, which is usually what happens to a lot of teams in the play-ins. And then we know Fnatic, they weren't scrimming in Europe. They still don't even have their full team together. Hylissang should be touching down like sometime tonight or tomorrow morning or something like that. He should be ready to go tomorrow. So that's exciting if you're a Fnatic fan. Yes, this was a very, very ugly start to Worlds for NA, but remember, EG was our 3 seed coming in, and also EG is missing probably their second best player this season in Danny, and he was a huge part of their win condition. Cowrie, is still a rookie who has only played a handful of LCS games, has not got to practice with Vulcan or the team much, or really play against top tier competition much at all. And he still looked okay. He has not looked bad, but making your first ever World game against Upset in the bot lane is always going to be a little bit of a rough one. So yeah, overall, EU better than NA. 7-0 this season. The run continues on. How many games can EU beat NA in a row? We'll have to wait and see. Also, Mad Lions won their first game. Didn't really look the cleanest. They're taking on Istanbul right now. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm just happy and excited. Worlds is underway. I think Riot is fumbling the bag a little bit with how everything's going down. EG definitely fumbled the bag today. But Fnatic off to a hot start. I don't know. Pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, stay up to date on my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.